Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are moving on to next tactical concept, that is the knight fork. Okay, let us see what's a fork. As the name suggests, fork means we can attack 2 or 3 things at a time, like we pick things with a fork. Okay, so here what happens, any double attack or a piece which is attacking 2 or more things at a time can do fork. Okay, we can say, but when the knight does, we say that it's a fork. Otherwise, when it happens with queen, rook or bishop, we use the term double attack. Okay, for generally for knight and pawn, we use the term fork. Let us see what is it. Knight is a piece which is capable of going to 8 squares. Okay, especially when it is in the middle of the board. So what happens is, the squares which knight is able to go from there, again it will have 8 squares. So the knight's power becomes very important, and the knight's moves we can use to visualize also. We can improve our imagination power also. So let's have a look at this position. I will treat it in 2 parts. One part is from A to D file and second part is from E to H file. So same position I will take it into 2 parts. See, let's look at the pieces. Now while doing the fork, what we see our knight is standing on the white color here. Okay, so from white it will always move to the other color. From white it will never move to white again. It will always go to black square. So what we will do is, we will see the position, piece placings which are on the white square. So see, this knight is on white. We know that this king is also on white and this queen is also on white. So what will happen, the knight from white, we are seeing here that if it goes to this square G5, it attacks the king, it's a check, and it is also attacking the queen. So it becomes a knight fork here. See, the double attack by the knight, which is called knight fork. Okay, so what important things we learned? See, knight fork, that way is very easy to understand. Knight will attack 2 things, okay, at the same time. Okay, now let's take a look at the other part. See, look at these 2 pieces. They are on the black squares. Okay, so now what will happen? This knight which is standing on black, it will go to white square. So it has the possibility to attack the black squares. It's not that always it will attack, so we have to look at the whole range. So the knight is covering, see, from here the knight is covering so many 8 places. These two, okay, these 2 and these 2. So there are 8 places. Same for this knight also. We will see that these 2, okay, these 2 and these 2. So 8 places in all. So we have to see the square where the knight is going, and from there 8 places, which is the most tricky part. Okay, we will look at some more examples now. Okay. So let's look at the first position. It's pretty simple one. Let's see what's going on in the position. So both have got their queens. Okay, and black has a rook against the white's knight. We see that the white knight is well advanced, okay, and it is ahead. So we will say that the knight is active here. Okay, so what we see, the knight is covering some important squares near the king. See, knight can go to these 2 squares, knight can go to these 2 squares, and the squares which are behind, they are not very important right now, because no pieces are on this side. Everything is above there, and we want to go near the black pieces. So we can easily spot that if knight goes to c7, so it's attacking the king, which is a check, and the knight is also attacking the rook. So this is called this is a typical knight fork. Now the king has to move, it's a check. So king can attack the knight, okay. Then knight takes the rook. Now the problem with this knight is that knight can get trapped easily. So after the move king c8, it looks as if king will move to b8 and capture the knight. But in this case, white has 2 good options. One, he can simply capture the pawn, or there is an even better move. White can play queen c5 check, king moves here. Now see, queen check, king takes the knight, but then white mates black soon. After the queen comes to c8 forced, queen takes the queen and it's a checkmate. Anyway, this was a secondary thing. Our main focus was to identify the fork. I just wanted to show you that the knight wasn't getting trapped. So I went further in that. But the main idea is to identify. See, both were on white squares. The knight was on white square. Let's move to next one. So this is our next position. So we see some material imbalance here. Imbalance means the position where it is not equally in nature. So what we see, rook for rook, and for the queen, white has got just knight and bishop. So it's not a balanced material. Okay. So black has more material. Black looks to be in a winning position also. But with white to play, see in the last position what we saw, our piece went to a square, it did fork. The fork was readily happening. Okay. There will be some positions now where we will try to take the piece, opponent's piece, to such a place from where we can do a fork. Okay. So let's see. We can identify that this knight, when it goes to c7 square, it's able to attack the rook and the queen both. Okay. So the knight is capable of doing fork from the c7 square. But we see that this king is supporting the pawn here. So knight cannot take the pawn. So what white does here, he creates a position where the pieces will come into a range of fork. Okay, let's see. The rook comes to e8 with a check. See how nicely the white pieces were placed. This bishop was covering the whole diagonal. This rook was on the open file, and the white knight was very active. Okay. So now what happens? The rook has to be taken by the king because king has no other place. At the moment the king takes the rook, we notice that now white knight is able to capture the pawn which was previously supported by the king. Now knight takes the pawn, check, and we see that the knight attacks the king, it's a check. Knight attacks the queen and knight attacks the rook. Okay. So such a situation is called family fork. When just two pieces are not attacked, three or more pieces are getting attacked. So it will be called as family fork. Now the king can try to attack the knight. Okay, after which white will of course take the queen. And from the previous position which was looking bad, now suddenly white is in a winning position. This we have to know the proper technique to convert this. Bishop and knight are stronger than the rook. Pawns are equal. So usually we need rook and two pawns for bishop and knight. Okay, so rook and one pawn are also not sufficient. So this position is winning for white. We'll learn how to convert these positions later on. So let's look at the next position now. Okay, so now what we see here, that white has got two rooks and a knight, black has also got two rooks and a bishop. So we will see the squares where there are attacks. See, knight is attacking the bishop and knight is attacking the pawns, these two pawns. Okay, but here we will not treat them as a fork because see, bishop is already supported by the king. Okay, and knight is attacking this pawn which is supported by the rook, and knight is attacking this b6 pawn which is supported by both pawn and rook. So that is not where the fork will happen. Okay, what white identifies here, that this knight can take the bishop. So when it takes the bishop, it attacks the rook from there. So from this point, white started imagining when the knight goes here, it's attacking one thing already. So if I can create fork from that place, so from the e7 place, so he notices that his both rooks are very active. They are on the open file and they are attacking the g8 square. See, black seems to have also two attacks on g8 square. Okay, now see, this king is the defender of this bishop. So white starts with rook g8 check. It looks like he's sacrificing the rook. See, rook takes the rook forced. Now again white takes the rook with a check. Now see, king has to take the rook. There is no other place. And now exactly this is what white wanted. See, the king and the rook both coming on the white squares. So now see, knight takes the bishop with a check. Now the king has to move. So king attacks the knight. King could also come here, which was also good. And then finally the knight takes the rook. And now this position is winning for white. So what white gave here was two rooks. Okay. But what he took here, he took both the rooks plus the bishop here. So white has become a piece up. So this position is winning for white. Let's look at one more example. Let's look at the next position. This is quite an interesting one. So what happened here actually, see, we see the imbalance here right now. We see that the black has queen and white has just rook and knight. But white had come to this position from a combination actually. There was some capture made on e6 and black had taken the queen on e6. What white noted here, that this king has less space. So by less space what I mean, see, this a file can be easily guarded by the rook. Okay, and what white saw is and that means the king has only the b8 square. So what white saw is that the knight can go to c7 and from there it is capable of attacking the queen. So same idea like the previous one, white starts with rook a1 check. See, this check forces the king to either go to b8 or forces the queen to interpose. So if the queen interposes, rook simply takes the queen, and then next to knight will take the pawn. So white will have an extra knight and an easy winning game. So black played the king to b8, and now we see that the king is having no good place. Okay, only it has got the c8 square. And what we see, this queen is already on white. Knight when goes to c7 attacks one white square, and we see from here the knight will attack this square on 8. So white sacrifices his rook. Rook a8 check. Okay, see the combination here. Okay, all the moves were forced. So king has to take the rook forced. Knight takes the pawn with the check. King came here. King wanted to try to come here. So knight takes the pawn, and this position is very easy win for white. Soon white can capture these pawns here, or he can use his king to advance. This pawn can become queen. This is an extra pawn in the position. So white won the game. Okay, let's look at one more position. So let's have a look at the last position here. Very interesting position, I must say. At first look, it is like white is about to win the game because pawn takes the rook and the pawn becomes queen, right? But the problem is when pawn takes the rook, pawn can queen, but then the queen comes to e1, gives check, and it will be a checkmate, and white will lose the game. And now at second observation, what we see now, that if we have to stop this mate, see, white queen is not able to give any check. That is what it looks like. And if white queen has to move, or we have to save the back rank mate here, then next move the rook can come to d8 and stop the pawn from queening. Rook can move anywhere for that matter, and even the rook is threatening to give check from here. So something like, let's say, queen d2, stopping both the checks. Then black can just play rook d8 and the check is stopped. Okay, but maybe white must have seen this before. White made a very strong move here. Queen went to a7 check. Okay, now see, there is no other choice but to capture the queen. So white queen is taken now. Okay, but now see the point. This pawn will take the rook again. If it becomes queen, then queen check is checkmate. So pawn takes the rook here, pawn to a knight here, and the knight is doing a fork. See, knight goes to the white square from where it is attacking both the black places. So now king had to move. King moves to a6, and then knight captures the queen, and then white won the game very easily over here. So we looked at what is knight fork, how to create a knight fork, and how we can train our eyes to see the knight fork. Okay, so I hope you are enjoying the lessons. Do share and subscribe the channel. Okay, and thanks for your time.